Okay, this is going to be a video on a tool that many shops should have. Do you need it? No. Is it a useful tool? Yes. Like most tools in a shop, they have their purpose. This tool isn't a woodworking or a metalworking or whatever your shop tool is. It's a tool to assist your other tools. And everyone should really have one, or I shouldn't say have one. Everyone should really consider one. They're not as complicated as they used to be, and they're big assistance. What it is one of these, a 3D printer. Now everyone's like, oh, 3D printing. 3D printing can be and is a major bonus for a wood shop or metal shop, mostly wood shop I'm going to do because that's what I have here. The amount of stuff you can do with this at the cost of the unit compared to table saws and bandsaws and planers and joiners and miter boxes and drill presses is ridiculously amazing. The things you can do with this to assist all those other tools is unreal. And I'm going to put a B-roll list up right now of just half of the things I've done with it.
Vacuum adapters for saws, wheels for saws, more vacuum attachments, another type of vacuum attachment, some hold downs and clamps, hoses and vacuum lines, more vacuum attachments, clamp shoes, holders for tools, a whole dust collector and cyclone, even the adapter for the filter, electrical faceplates, a vacuum head attachment, replacement for a broken foot on a vacuum, more tool and bit holders, another vacuum attachment, some tool holders, battery holders, and even a fly swatter for the pesky bugs.
Now, they are pricey, but they're cheap compared to everything else. I mean, vacuums cost as much as these now. There are a variety, and I'm not going to get into it. There are even YouTubers who have made businesses out of using 3D printers for wood shop. There's a guy who does YouTube. He's really good, and I can't think of his name right now. I can see his face. He's good. He makes little clips for track saws that make dust collection better, and little end caps for track saws that keep the cord from dragging in, or the cords or hose from dragging across the end of the track saw edge, so it's a little smoother and you're not digging into the hose. Shop Nation makes special adapters that work for miter boxes to help with dust collection. There's just so much you can do. I should probably start selling some of my stuff, although I give all of my things are free on printables.com. Some of them might be on Thingiverse. But it's amazing what you can do with a 3D printer in a shop. They are a little complicated, so is any other tool. If you've been considering one of these, a CNC, this is literally the same thing. The only difference is this has a head on it that cuts stuff. This has a head on it that squirts hot plastic. Literally the same thing. Yes, they use different softwares, but the firmware, the G code, the operation of it is the same. If you can do one, you can do the other quite easily. I just can't say enough about 3D printing in a wood shop. Do you need it? No. Can it make your life better? Yes. Would I prioritize this over a woodworking tool? Some cases, yes. Do you want a table saw? Yes. Do you want a miter box, a planer, a bandsaw? Those are all big ticket items. Yes. If I were going to buy a $200 hand plane or this, I would buy this. Now, I'm not big into hand planing, so there's that. But the things you can do with these, it's just amazing. Now they range in prices, and there's all sorts of videos on, do you need this printer or that printer, or why the inexpensive ones are no good and why you should really get the more expensive ones. This is a more expensive one. This was actually given to me by a friend. I have built 3D printers. I've bought cheap 3D printers. I've bought expensive 3D printers. They all work. It's just how much time, effort, and quality you want in it. Honestly, for a wood shop, I think the least expensive units are fine, as long as you're willing to learn them and how to use them. You don't need top quality printing to make a vacuum attachment hose. If it's got some stringing and stuff, who cares? I would recommend a direct drive printer over a Bowden, because I do feel one of the most used filaments you will be using, which is the plastic filament, in a shop will be TPU. If you're going to do vacuum attachments and stuff like that, TPU is by far one of the best for that kind of thing. You can print TPU with a Bowden. It's not easy. It's kind of a pain in the butt. It's so much easier and so much more reliable to just do it with a direct drive. There's a few of them out there. I'm not going to start pushing brands or anything. They're all good. They're all bad. They have their ups and their downs. Go look around. If I were to recommend one, I'd say right now, at this time of recording, I would probably start recommending the SB06. And it's basically the same thing as this printer right here. Some things are arranged differently, but it literally is almost exactly the same thing as this printer right here. Again, now going back to the TPUs, there's a few different materials. Again, there's 1,000 videos all on the different materials. Some of them are good, some of them are bad. I highly recommend a direct drive because the TPU, you're going to want to use TPU a lot in a shop. It's a semi-flexible, rubbery, plasticky, think of a rubber duck, texture. It's not really rubber like a tire. It's more plasticky rubber. But it's very useful for vacuum attachments and anything that's going to have impact onto it. Mostly vacuum for sealing and, holding stuff, hoses and things. It's a great filament. I highly recommend not getting sucked in to the expensive ones for shop use. Cheaper, harder TPUs are actually going to be more likely what you're going to want to use. My vacuum system, okay, all of my little vacuum attachments are all the cheapest TPU I can buy on Amazon. It's like 18 bucks a roll. You get 40 or 50 vacuum attachments out of it easily. The thing is there's so many things you can do with a 3D printer in a shop. It's mind-boggling. The things you can repair, the things you can make, the things that have already been made. And that's the other thing is, if you're good at designing or you want to design, great. You could blow your mind in a shop with a 3D printer, designing and building and attaching and just making things for the shop or to accessorize stuff you're making. But you don't have to. There's people like me. I've got hundreds and hundreds of designs throughout the interwebs. Most of my designs now are on printables.com. There's others. Thingiverse is hugely popular. You don't have to design your own. Don't think you need to get into CAD drawings and all kinds of stuff, which, again, you can. It's great. And if you're doing some woodworking, you're likely looking at it anyways. You might be designing your own cabinets or shelves or whatever. So you may already be into the CAD designing, but you don't have to. There's someone out there that's probably already done whatever you're trying to do. There's just so much out there. If you've ever considered it, I would say just do it. There's enough support, and there's enough people, there's enough stuff out there now where it's not that hard to learn.